Hello and namaskar. Welcome to another session of BW4HANA Tidbits, where I share some of my knowledge and experience. My name is Debanshu Mukherjee, and today we are going to discuss how to use HANA 2.0 HDI calculation views in a BW4HANA composite provider. So we will look at the difference between a classic calculation view and a new type of calculation view in HANA 2.0, which is called HDI calculation views. And once we know the difference, then we will move on to see how to enable the HDI calculation views for consumption in composite providers. So let's get started. Alright, so now first let's look at some major differences between the HDI calculation views and the classic calculation views. So we will look at the different aspects of these two types of calculation views and understand the architectural and the interface difference between the two. So starting from the interface, on the left side you can see the classic CV screenshot, and on the right side you can see the HANA 2.0 HDI calculation views. So in the classic CV or HANA 1.0 CV, we have the interface of HANA Studio, where you have different packages and there is a hierarchical structure of packages, and within those packages you create your calculation view. And on the right side, this is a screenshot of a completely new interface. It's a web-based web portal where you don't need any client software installed. You directly go on the web with the URL and then you do all your modeling on the web. Now here it is XS Advanced based environment web portal for modeling, and that is called Web IDE for SAP HANA. Now there are a couple of web IDEs and the terminology can get confusing. That's why I thought we will quickly discuss the different flavors of web IDE we have in the market. So we have three types of web IDEs. The first one is the SAP Web IDE, which is a part of SAP Cloud Platform. So when you do native application development, you will use the SAP Web IDE. Then the second flavor is SAP Web IDE Full Stack. This is loaded with lots of features additional to the first one, but again this is a part of the SAP Cloud Platform. Then comes the third, which is the most important one for the HANA modelers. In 2.0, this integrated development environment is called SAP Web IDE for SAP HANA. So this is the one which we will use most of the time. And then in HANA 1.0, in the XS Classic world, we had the web portal known as SAP Web-Based Development Workbench, not Web IDE. It is Web-Based Development Workbench, and it is a part of XS Classic environment. Alright, so coming to the prerequisite for the HANA 1.0 Classic calculation views, the prerequisites were the repository and the package. So the HANA repository resides within the HANA database in HANA 1.0 XS Classic, and then you have to create a package, and within that package you can then create a calculation view. Whereas on the right hand you can see in HANA 2.0 the HDI calculation view, it has two prerequisites. First, you have to create an MTA project. MTA stands for multi-target application. What that means is that you can have different modules within this project, and those different modules can be based on different runtimes or different targets. One can be a Node.js based, one can be a Java based, one can be your database related artifacts. So there can be different parts, or you can say microservices based project. So first you create an MTA project, multi-target application project, and within that MTA project you will create an HDB module, which stands for HANA database module, and within this HANA database module you will create your calculation views. Then coming to the architecture, in HANA 1.0 XS Classic environment, we had the HANA database, and the HANA repository resided within the HANA database. And on top of that, we had the XS Classic runtime, and then the web portal was called XS Classic Web-Based Development Workbench. And then for the on-premise based modeling, we had the HANA Studio. So this was the XS Classic environment. Whereas on the right side, you can see that we have the HANA database, but the HANA repository within the HANA database is no more there. Now we have Git integration, and all your repositories are housed in Git, or they reside in the Git, and then from there, actually GitHub to be precise, right? Git is the software which allows the repository management, and GitHub is the place where you host your repositories. So now we have that integration, and all the repositories now reside in the GitHub, and via Git check-in checkout you will maintain your repository, and you will create different branches, the development branch, the testing branch, and the production branches, and do the check-in checkout and merge your code accordingly. And then we can also have Garrett as your source code review software. Then we have the XS Advanced Runtime sitting on top, which is a much more advanced and microservices based runtime. And finally, we have one tool which is used by both administrators as well as modelers in HANA 2.0 for modeling and administration, and that is called XS Advanced Web IDE, also called Web IDE for SAP HANA. And then finally, looking at the backend storage, there has been some substantial changes. So in HANA 1.0 XS Classic World, any calculation view, when you activate them, it goes and sits as a column view in _sys_bi schema. That is fixed. So _sys_bi, also called sysbi, is basically the schema, and also sysbic _sys_bic and _sys_bi. These were the two primary schemas where all your calculation view related metadata is stored in HANA 1.0. So sysbic and sysbi. Whereas on the right hand side, we have a completely different structure now, and it's a container based structure. And when I say container, I mean the low level database container. So whenever you build your HDB module, by the way, now we don't have the concept of activation. In HANA 1.0, we used to activate the calculation views or activate a procedure. Now we have to build the module, and when you build the module, it goes and creates a runtime container, which is actually a schema, but now that schema is no more the sysbic or the sysbi. It's an HDI HANA deployment infrastructure container, which is specific to that module, and all your artifacts for that module goes and sits in that HDI container. Sysbic and sysbi are still there as a schema, but they are no more the only place where your calculation views will go and sit. So this is one of the major differences between the backend storage. So with this, now we have a fair idea of what are the salient differences between HANA 1.0 calculation views and HANA 2.0 HDI calculation views. Alright, so now let's look at how to enable the HDI calculation views, meaning the new HANA 2.0 calculation views for consumption in BW4HANA. So let's first look at some context. So I want to set the context here first before we actually delve deeper into the actual steps to be taken. So first point is that HDI calculation views are not available in all BW versions, meaning that just because you have activated the XS Advanced and just because you have created the new type of calculation view in the Web IDE for SAP HANA does not imply that they will be immediately available for composite providers in BW4HANA or for consumption in BW4HANA. So there are some steps to be taken. So that's why this is the first disclaimer, that HDI calculation views are not immediately available in all BW versions. The feature must be manually activated in order to be used. So if you want to use the HDI new HANA 2.0 type of calculation views, you have to activate this particular feature manually. So BW on HANA and BW4HANA, they support different ways of combining the mixed reporting scenarios, or we call it the hybrid scenarios or the mixed scenarios, where we have to combine the HANA calculation views with the BW info providers. So for this purpose, BW on HANA and BW4HANA, they access the HANA repository to do the mixed modeling. With SAP HANA 2.0, the new deployment infrastructure HDI, or which is called HANA Deployment Infrastructure, is introduced. This changes how BW on HANA and BW4HANA access the metadata. The SAP HANA Classic repository, which we saw in our previous slide, is planned to be deprecated and will be removed from the later versions of SAP HANA. So right now in SAP HANA, they have given backward compatibility, meaning both the application server versions, Access Classic and Access Advanced, they both exist. Okay, but in later versions, the major versions of HANA, this HANA Access Classic will be removed. Alright, so SAP BW on HANA, let's see what's the status. So HDI calculation views are not supported for mixed scenarios. So unfortunately, SAP has not given the support for mixed scenarios in BW on HANA. And when I'm saying BW on HANA, I'm referring to the BW 7.3 on HANA, BW 7.4 on HANA, and BW 7.5 on HANA. These are the different versions which have HANA as the database. But the new product, which is BW4HANA, is different. So for BW on HANA, there is no support for the HDI calculation views, meaning the HANA 2.0 calculation views. What that means? That implies that the HDI calculation views cannot be integrated with BW OpenODS views or composite providers or info objects in the BW versions. The BW generated HANA views are not deployed into HDI either, meaning when you activate an advanced DSO, or when you activate a composite provider, or when you activate an info object, there is an option to generate HANA views, the corresponding HANA views, and those are called generated HANA views. So those generated HANA views out of the BW info providers will not be deployed as a new type of views. That means they will still be activated as an old Access Classic type of calculation views. And for SAP BPC optimized for S4 HANA, we can refer to this note 26100094, which will give you further details into how the BPC optimized for S4 HANA artifacts will be migrated to the HDI views. And there are no plans to support the HDI calculation views in BW on HANA. So if you are on BW on HANA, you will not be able to integrate the new type of calculation views in your mixed modeling scenarios. So that means you have to upgrade to BW4HANA. Now coming to BW4HANA, the consumption of HDI calculation views in composite providers or info objects based on HANA model is supported with BW4HANA 2.0. Please make a note of this. BW4HANA 1.0 does not support the HDI calculation views to be integrated in the composite providers, but BW4HANA 2.0 SP0 onwards, now you can include the HDI calculation views in your composite providers. And the development team at SAP, the BW development team, they have evaluated the support of the HDI deployment of BW generated HANA calculation views, meaning when you activate the advanced DSO or composite providers, they have evaluated that whether it's beneficial to actually generate the view as a HDI view or not. And the decision was made not to support the deployment to the HDI. And what are the reasons for that? HDI does not contain features which are relevant for the generated HANA views or which would improve the functional scope of the feature. That means the optimizations and features provided by the HDI model were not really helpful for BW generated HANA views. BW will continue to deploy the generated HANA views into the old HANA repository. And for mixed modeling use cases, these views in BW can be consumed via HDI. That means if you want to create a calculation view in HANA 2.0 in the new Access Advanced environment, and you want to use the generated view of an advanced DSO, it is supported. So that means the HANA 2.0 calculation views can include the HANA 1.0 generated calculation views. But vice versa scenario, that means using the new HDI calculation view inside the 1.0 classic calculation view is not possible and is not supported. And also you have to keep in mind that there are two different technical users. In HANA 1.0, sys repo, or to be precise _sys_repo is a user, is also a schema, and is also a user. That user used to own all the repository objects, but in HANA 2.0 the container owner user owns the objects. So because there are two different technical users, that's why some optimizations might not work and it might lead to longer execution times, but then it's again case to case, so you have to test it out. And as I mentioned, the reverse direction to consume the Web IDE views or the HDI views by Studio, that means by the XS Classic calculation views, is not supported. The synonym within the Web IDE just points to the view in the sysbik instead of any HDI container. This is a scenario where you want to use the 1.0 classic calculation view inside the 2.0 HDI calculation view. In that case, you have to create a synonym, and that synonym will point to the column view in sysbik schema instead of a view in an HDI container. And the deployment is proven stable and easier to support. And additionally, the advantage of this approach is that no migration is required and the existing mixed modeling scenarios are covered or will continue as it is. Now we come to the actual steps to activate the HDI calculation view. So if you want to use the HDI calculation views in BW4HANA, you must first make sure that you meet the minimum version requirement, and you can go through the note 2463312, and the version requirement is that you should be on HANA 2.0 SP00 at least. And then once you have that version already, then you must manually turn on this feature. And how you do that? In the SPRO, okay, in the configuration. So if you go to the transaction SPRO, reference IMG BW4HANA, under BW4HANA you will have data modeling, and under data modeling you will see the settings for consumption of HANA views. That is the setting, and you can click on the clock icon, and once you click on the clock icon you will jump to this second screen which is given in the screenshot, which is settings for HANA consumption, and there by default this checkbox that use HDI repository will be unchecked. So you have to check this box, and then once you check this box, save your configuration setting. Once you do that, then you can start using the HDI calculation views in your composite providers, meaning now those HDI CVs will start showing up in your modeling, mixed modeling, when you try to include them in the composite provider. Okay, two important notes here just to keep in mind. For BW4HANA 1.0, consumption of HDI calculation views is not supported. Okay, and also there are no plans to support that in future. We will need to upgrade to BW4HANA 2.0 in order to be able to use this feature. So BW on HANA and BW4HANA 1.0 does not support the consumption of 2.0 HDI CVs. But in 2.0, BW4HANA 2.0, it is supported. Note number 2. In some rare cases, when you go to the SPRO settings, configuration settings, okay, the setting for consumption of HANA views sometimes is not available. This is a bug, and I think SAP is working to fix this bug. But if this is the scenario, then as a workaround, you can use the program or transaction rs_HDI_ settings, and there you will find this flag of HDI repository. You can check that flag and start consuming the 2.0 HDI views in your composite provider. So this in a nutshell is the steps or the list of steps you have to follow and the salient points you have to keep in mind if you want to use the HANA 2.0 HDI CVs in your composite provider. Thank you so much for listening in. I hope it helped you, and I hope this gives you some information on how to use the HDI calculation views in your BW4HANA. So please subscribe to my channel for regular updates and give me a thumbs up if you like this video. I will see you in the next one.